This isn't a Saitama power scaling video, it's just about my opinion on Saitama's nature and the ending of the series. First of all, we need to speak about God, because he is connected to Saitama. We know that the most important fight in the series will be the final fight, Saitama versus God. The whole manga is building up to this special moment. God is directly linked to his avatars, since they get empowered by a fraction of his greatness. For now, Cosmic Garu has been shown to be the pinnacle of that. If we look specifically at the end of the Garu versus Saitama fight, Garu tells Saitama that he can master God's power by taking his hand, confirming, basically, that God can affect space and time, allowing him to time travel, thus affecting causality as well. We also see from the mural under the MA base that God can cross the vast expanse of time, which is more proof of him not being affected by the flow of time, and of multiple timelines as well, since he shall resurrect on this earth. So, I think it's fair to assume that God knows the future, thus the point of prophecies. Now, with that out of the way, let's go back to the main subject. Trying to look at the story from the perspective of God himself, who should know the future, changes everything. It implies that God has already planned everything, since the inception of humanity, or even before that. All events in the series, no matter how good or bad, could be a massive ritual that will lead to God's eventual release once all steps are completed, which I assume will happen in the final arc. The only real obstacle is Saitama. Why? Because, as Garu said, he can do what God can, without falling under his control. Him affecting causality endangers God's already written future, which is why God took away Garu's powers, and why Saitama is generally attracting God. But wait, I think it goes much deeper than this. Again, looking at it from God's perspective, if God has orchestrated everything in a way where, no matter what happens, even if Saitama beats all of his forces, he gets one step closer to freedom, then doesn't this imply that it has already happened for him? If he himself made sure to carve out his own destiny, then he must also know that all the forces against him will fail, and that he will have to fight Saitama. Why? Because it will happen. So his clash with Saitama must be equally as important as his release is. Now think about this. Why would God want to fight Saitama if he knows he can't beat him? This is where Saitama's nature comes in, and the reason for this video. The HA noted that it's as if God himself resides in the body of Saitama. Also, Saitama's biggest dream is to find a truly worthy, powerful opponent and defeat it with one single blow. Also, one has said he figured out the beginning and the end. So early statements and hints aren't totally random words. What if the end is placed right in front of our eyes? Aka, the description above? So, my theory on Saitama is, the potential reason as to why God can't see Saitama beating him could be because Saitama's narrative is above God entirely. Yeah, what if Saitama is the true God, and the reason God does everything is in order for Saitama to have a worthy opponent to fight with? God couldn't know, because he comes from Saitama, his pawn. He also made it so he lost his memories, lost his hair, but didn't lose his power. That's why he became depressed, thus seeking that worthy opponent. The higher he goes, the more he awakens. Chapter 168, Awakening of the Gods. That final fight will awaken him to who he really is. And in that beautiful moment of understanding, he will fulfill his dream, which is how he will beat God. Because remember, God and Saitama are said to be beyond the limiter. Same sides of the same coin, you could say. So, in the realization that he is the God, he will one-shot God and complete the cycle and dream. In the eyes of everyone, he will become the perfect hero. But Saitama will know that everything was as he willed it. So having said all that, the manga could end beautifully, beginning similar to the end, as one confirmed. Saitama says as the epilogue, end of the last chapter, "My name is Saitama. I was a hero. My hobby was heroic exploits. I got too strong, and it made me sad. I lost my fear. I lost all feeling. I wanted to feel the rush of battle. I would like to meet an incredibly strong enemy, and I met an incredibly strong enemy, and I defeated it with one blow. That's because I am One Punch Man." So, in conclusion, the whole point of the OPM manga could be Saitama creating everything and putting himself in his own creation. So sometime in the future, he can satisfy his biggest desire with one punch, while also interacting with, inspiring his other creations, making friends along that journey, and learning what it's like to be human. If you like this theory, please tell me in the comments section and like the video. See you in the next fan-made theories.